I Give My Marriage a Year by Holly Wainwright. Well, it's about what the title says it's about. It's about a woman, Lou, who is giving her marriage with her husband, Josh, one more year. And I liked the concept of that. Not sure I loved the outcome. And the more time has gone on, the more I'm kind of confirming that opinion. Now, I will preface this by saying this is just my opinion. My married friends have loved this book. But if anything, this put me off the idea of marriage. So it's a very well written book by an Australian author, and I listened to it as an audiobook, and it has it bounces between the past and the present, and it has the two point of views of Josh and Lou. And when it opened up in Josh's point of view, and it was probably just a side effect of the audiobook, I was like, whoa, trying to prove the point that he's an Australian male much. But ultimately, I felt that the 2 points of view and the 2 character voices were very well done, and clearly 2 different people. I think sometimes multiple point of view books can kind of more or less end up with characters having the same voice, but they're using the different point of view to actually just show you something different because that character is not part of whatever's going on over here. But so this is kind of like you get the dual perspective on the marriage and its kind of implosion from 2 different people. And I'm trying not to spoil it, but you basically open the novel and their marriage is in a bad place already. And you kind of see parts of their history where they were deeply in love and, you know, when they're first having kids and all of these sorts of things. And that is compared to their current situation. What I did not like about this book is that particularly the first half of the book, it just kind of felt like Lou was a trope wife, like whingy, nagging, like she was annoying. Like I just kind of wanted to tell her to get over it and stop being such a cow. But you kind of understand after it's probably a bit further than halfway because it felt like a bit of a slog to get there. But there's a revelation, let's call it halfway through the book. And then you were kind of like, oh, okay, now I understand. My only issue with that is that it felt like the first part just went on for so long that by the time we got to the middle part, or the just middle part, where things are revealed that makes sense why she's so angry all the time and why she's so mean to him. And by the time we got there, I was kind of already predisposed to not like the whingy wife, if that makes sense. And the husband was very again, cliche, like relaxed, kids love him, he was a musician, he was no dramas, he was lovely. Can't work out why she's got so many bloody problems with this man. But, and look, I will preface this by saying I was listening to it at a very challenging time in my life. So maybe the concept of somebody else just kind of was like, maybe I wasn't in the right place, you know? Like when a character is maybe not as annoying as you find them because you're being biased because of what you're going through. But she annoyed me. I'm just going to say that straight. But it was very well written. So I give this book some leeway because I was under huge personal and professional stresses at the time. So maybe I wasn't in the best mind frame to read. But once we get to the halfway point when this big relationship changing revelation is made, that's when things kind of get more interesting. You get a much more complex, multi-layered view of their marriage as opposed to nagging wife versus chill husband. And it is really interesting, that part, to kind of look at what really felt like a real marriage and why they both love and hate each other and why they are where they are. And you can sort of see why both would want to walk away at various points. But the trouble was the first part really set me up to not be a fan of Lou, which I didn't really like because I just don't like that whinging, nagging wife trope. I feel like it's unfair to women. I feel like it kind of negates how hard it is to be a mother and to often be placed in the primary carer role, even if you're married, and to have to work at the same time, and how, you know, anyway. But yeah, I just kind of felt like I was set up to not like her, and so I found it hard to really come around for her at any point, even though I wanted to, but I just never really could. Obviously, by the end of the book, there is a determination as to whether they will continue their relationship or not, having given it a year. Eventually, she does reveal to her husband that she is, you know, has their marriage on a time clock and is trying all these various things like sex month to try and see if they can get back to a center and if there's something there that's worth saving. So, look, I mean, great concept, well written. Liked that it was an Australian story and kind of had definite Australianisms, like you couldn't accidentally pick this book up and pop, well, I guess you could pop it in Chicago, but it'd be very strange Australian tone in a Chicago book. But you get what I mean. Like, I'm sure that these problems happen in relationships anywhere in the world, but it definitely had a very Australian flavor to it, which was nice, but which won't be for everyone. I think if you're thinking about reading this book and you're not sure, and yes, my review is a little bit negative, so maybe I might bias you towards saying no. I think if you're married, you might enjoy this book because you might feel like you side with Lou a little bit more, and maybe just having been in a long-term relationship, you kind of get the complexities a bit more, and it's interesting to see someone else going through it and you can relate to it a little bit more. And I don't know, sometimes I think people like books that relate to their life a little bit more. I tend to want to escape a little bit, but I think if you're single and you're sick of hearing your married friends whinge about how annoying their spouse is, do not pick this book up. Do not. I'm leaning towards 3 out of 5 stars because it was well written. It was a great concept. I think just because I was in a bad mood and didn't really want to hear about other people's problems, I think I'm probably punishing the book a little bit for that, which is not its fault. But I just made me think that this is the kind of book that's not for me. But there are definitely going to be things in this book for some people, just not for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will subscribe to this channel and click like on this video just to help this channel grow. I really appreciate it. See you soon.